I was thinking of how Rousseau in Emile he emphasizes something that you don't hear much from philosophers. He talks about the art of being ignorant. And I think that, yeah, that kind of it to me seems very profound to know how to be ignorant. Because conceptually, we know that we're pretty much somewhat ignorant of everything, of every single thing all the time, and yet we somehow kind of, I mean, we do have to act in the world, and we do have to act based on sort of what we sense and what we know, but we have to be able to kind of, yeah, know when to when there's nothing to be done,
Hmm.
and when we don't know something, and the art, not the science, the art of knowing how to be ignorant to me seems kind of another thing that's almost like a parable or something. To parable isn't the right word, maxim or something. I don't know what I'm trying to say, myth, but
Yeah, it's
to
a
kind
it's
of,
a it's a see it's a brief bit of instruction. It's almost like
right,
a
yeah,
pill, you know. Yeah,
yeah,
it reminds me of in the Zen tradition they talk about beginner's mind, and
right,
the
yeah,
cultivation of beginner's mind, or there's a I think there was a Korean Buddhist teacher who called it like don't know mind.
yeah,
I don't know, I don't know. And to cultivate that's something that is the mind of enlightenment, in the Buddhist sense of enlightenment. That not knowing is the only like if I'm sorry, it's hard to put this into words, and I don't know that I understand it well enough. And even if I think even if I did understand it, it would still be hard to put into words. So I'm sort of like laughing at myself stumbling in any kind of direction with this. But if we think we know, we're looking at the knowing that we have. And putting that aside gives us a moment of I don't know. And that I don't know becomes the space that reality can then show us. The present moment presents itself in that being with itness, that conformity, knowing becomes open. We become open to it, telling us what it is. And then it can find its place with all of our previous history. But if
right,
we're focused on what we think it is, rather than on being like, well, I don't know what it is, then we're not investigating, we're not engaging with
right,
it.
yeah,
And I think, oh, what else? Yeah, and I think one other thing to say there as far as the golden mean and not falling off on either side is I think there's an element of having the concept that of beginner's mind, having the concept of I don't know, and then that becomes a thing that can block the conformity, that can block the knowing, the wisdom that would arise from actually engaging with reality. Um, you can just as easily get stuck in the idea of like I'm not supposed to know anything, and then your knowing, the concept becomes the the knowing tunnel of the mind through which reality has to pass in order for us to extract meaning from it becomes blocked by either I already know what this is and I don't have to pay attention to it, or I'm not supposed to know what it is and I'm not going to have this experience. And in either case, you end up with that empty tube being blocked, that knowingness, the ability to conform with reality and be educated by it, um, being impossible for you because you're not actually meeting your reality. You're only meeting the concept that you're holding about it, and that's stale and it's old and it's not actually what's happening because it's based on something that's already happened.